Okay, so picture this. Deep in the New Mexico desert, you find these massive, incredibly sophisticated stone cities that, honestly, shouldn't exist where they are. This is the story of Chaco Canyon. It's a place of unbelievable achievement, but also a profound mystery. So let's dive in and see if we can unravel it.
Wow, just look at this. This is the Great Kiva at Chetro. I mean, for over 250 years, the people of Chaco built these sprawling complexes. Some of them were 4 stories high with hundreds of rooms. And get this, these weren't just big for their time. They were the largest buildings in all of North America for nearly 800 years. And this brings us to the two real head-scratchers that have puzzled researchers for decades. First, why would you go to all this incredible trouble to build a metropolis right here in such a brutal environment? And second, after all that work, where did everybody go? These are the big questions we're going to dig into. You know, to really get a feel for what they accomplished, you first have to understand the land itself. And trust me, calling it challenging doesn't even begin to cover it. So, welcome to the world of Chaco. It's a high desert, dry and just relentless. The canyon gets less than 10 inches of rain a year. There are no major rivers, and today you'll barely find any water on the surface. It's beautiful, no doubt, but it is brutal. And the climate? It is a total roller coaster. Temperatures can swing 60 degrees in a single day. The growing season is super short, and the weather just lurches from okay rainfall to these devastating decades-long droughts. And think about this. Even in the absolute best of times, experts figure the canyon could only support about 2,000 people. And yet in this exact landscape, the Ancestral Puebloans didn't just scrape by. Oh no, they engineered a society that was, in so many ways, centuries ahead of its time. And this all happened so fast. This wasn't some slow, gradual build. The Chaco phenomenon just exploded over about 250 years. Around 900 AD, the first of these giant great houses pop up. By the mid-thousands, they are rolling out these incredibly precise, pre-planned building designs across the whole region. This was their moment. This was their golden age. Want to get a sense of the sheer effort involved here? Let me throw a number at you. 200,000. That's how many trees they think were needed just for the buildings in the main part of the canyon. So, in this barren landscape, where in the world did they get them? Well, not from around here, that's for sure. They had to cut them down in mountain ranges up to 70 miles away and then carried them back. Just let that sink in. They didn't have wheels, they didn't have horses or oxen. This was all done by people, hauling hundreds of thousands of massive logs by hand, right across the desert. It's just mind-boggling. And their ambition didn't stop with the buildings. They tied their whole world together with this incredible network of engineered roads. And we're not talking about little dirt trails. These things were up to 30 feet wide, built dead straight for miles on end, and even had stone staircases and ramps built to get up and down cliffs. They shot out from the canyon like spokes on a wheel, connecting dozens of different communities. But here's where it gets even wilder. Their genius wasn't just on the ground. It was aimed at the sky. Their biggest buildings are lined up perfectly with the cycles of the sun and the moon. Check out the famous sun dagger carving. It uses light and shadow to mark the solstices and equinoxes perfectly. To get that kind of precision, that took generations of just watching the sky. They literally built their cosmology right into the stone.
Okay, so we've seen how they built this place, and it's absolutely staggering. But that just brings us right back to the biggest question of them all. Why? What was the point of all of this monumental work, seemingly in the middle of nowhere? And this, right here, is the great debate for archaeologists. Were these great houses actual bustling cities, or were they something else entirely? The evidence is, well, it's a total puzzle. On the one hand, you've got these huge buildings with hundreds of rooms and signs of trade from far away, which screams city. But on the other hand, archaeologists find weirdly few hearths. You know, the fireplaces people would need to cook and stay warm every day. This has led a lot of people to a pretty radical idea. Maybe Chaco's great houses weren't cities at all, but huge ceremonial centers built to host massive gatherings for people from all over the region. So for more than 2 centuries, this complex system thrived. It grew, it innovated, it dominated the whole region. And then, with almost shocking speed, it just went quiet.
It all started to fall apart around 1130 AD when a brutal 50-year drought took hold of the region. Within just 10 years, the whole interconnected Chacoan system began to fail. And by the end of that century, the great houses, the result of so much incredible effort, were systematically sealed up and just abandoned.
Now, that massive drought was probably the knockout punch, but the system was already under a lot of stress. They had stripped the area of trees for building, and ironically, their own amazing water control systems might have actually caused massive soil erosion. The whole thing was just more fragile than it looked. So when the climate finally turned against them for good, the network couldn't take it, and it collapsed, starting from the outside in.
But here's a really crucial point. The end of the buildings in the canyon was not the end of the Chacoan people, not even close. And what happened next is key to the entire story. The people of Chaco didn't just disappear into thin air. They moved. They migrated south and east and west, and they took their culture, their knowledge, and their traditions with them. Today, their direct descendants are the modern Pueblo and Hopi peoples who still live throughout the region. And for them, Chaco was never truly abandoned or lost. It has always been a sacred ancestral homeland. Their oral histories, passed down through generations, still tell the stories of their time in the canyon and their migrations away from it. It's a direct, living connection to these amazing ruins.
As the National Park Service puts it, the sites are considered sacred ancestral homelands. This really drives home that this isn't just an archaeological park full of old rocks. It's a place with deep, ongoing spiritual meaning. It's a living landscape, not just a relic of the past.
And that leaves us with a very modern challenge, because the story of Chaco isn't just about solving the mysteries of its past, but about navigating its present. So the final question is really for all of us. How do we protect this incredible wonder of human history while also honoring its profound importance as a sacred living homeland?